Okay, I think we can start. Welcome everyone to this webinar about taking back control and managing access across different scenarios. My name is Derek Nidar, and I'm the security strategist at IM Team. We are a team of cybersecurity professionals focused on identity and access management solutions and services. I am based in Toronto, and we have offices across Canada and presence in the US and Asia Pacific. We help all sorts of organizations realize the benefits of a true IAM solution, and we partner with various IAM technology companies to help deliver IAM solutions to our customers. With me today is John. John, care to say hi and say a few words?
Yeah, thank you, Derek. Hello, everyone. My name is John. I'm based in Calgary, Alberta. Today, we'll be talking about access management.
Thank you, John. I'll be your guide in this webinar, and John will be showing you later how an access management solution actually works. With that, let's move on to our agenda for today. So today we'll walk you through the common use cases for access management and to demonstrate how an access management solution works and how it could help enhance your current IAM program or your security operations. We'll start with the mobile device registration, which is an important step, especially for most of the capabilities of access management. After that, we'll move on to single sign-on, multi-factor authentication. We'll be showing some examples of contextual access control. And finally, a glimpse of passwordless access. In this demonstration, we will showcase IBM Security Verify Access. IBM Security Verify Access allows organizations to take back control with a single integrated platform that manages access across many common scenarios. It helps secure access points into the corporate network and enforce risk-based access policies that define who and what can access protected resources. With IBM Security Verify Access, transactions requested by employees, consumers, partners, and others are secure, fast, and convenient. Okay, so business relies on IT resources like network, on-premise servers, cloud-based servers, and a bunch of different types of applications like enterprise applications or internal web applications. In the beginning, maybe the business just had a few employees and accessed a few resources, say an enterprise application here, maybe a purchase software there. But as the business grows, so does your organization, and maybe by a lot. The same with the applications, especially now with the adoption of cloud applications. Not only that, you also have partners and contractors, or say consumers who access possibly the same applications. Now, at this point, you have quite some challenges on your hand. First, how do you manage multiple accounts for multiple applications for an ever-expanding organization? As your organization grows, there will be more accounts to manage. Combine that with how easy it is to utilize more and more cloud applications, it theoretically opens to an unlimited number of accounts that your organization could be handling. And you cannot just rely on your employees to say ensure each of their accounts are secured. For all we know, I don't know, maybe they have the same passwords for all their 5 or 6 or even 20 accounts. Second, how do you manage the sessions? How do you make sure that the right user is accessing the right application? You have partners and contractors in the same environment your employees are. I think it was 2013 when Target, the retail company, lost 40 million credit card info when a third-party HVAC provider got hacked, when that HVAC provider had direct access to their network. And last, the balance between security and the user experience. There is an inability to ensure easy access to valid users while restricting access to the suspicious users. Security and user experience are often treated as a trade-off, viewed as mutually exclusive. Now, we know that growth is good. It's actually great, but it leads to making your system extremely complex, leaving the IT leaders, such as yourselves, feel the pressure of supporting the growth while ensuring the security alone. What you ultimately want is the ability to easily manage user access without sacrificing security nor user experience. You need something in the middle of the growing number of users and accounts and your resources that can help you securely manage the accounts and their usage. A way to ensure that users are who they say they are before using and accessing your critical resources. A way to say provide access dynamically depending on the user, the device, and the environment. And that something in the middle is IBM Security Verify Access. So how does it work and what would it look like? So here in our before state, we have the users and devices connecting directly to the different applications. Each application may support different methods of authentication, say Kerberos for a Windows application here, or maybe user ID and password for the older applications. So for a user to log in, he needs to log in separately and multiple times to the different applications. So with that said, now imagine that for an organization having 10 to 20 different applications for just a single user. Now with IBM Security Verify Access, you have the applications, these applications behind Verify Access. Let's say if this application here is still taking in Kerberos, while these apps are using, say, basic authentication, VUID and password, and another one using form-based authentication. We can set up a single sign-on here such that when the user logs into Verify Access and say tries to access this, Verify Access would send Kerberos credential, while here it will assert UID and passwords. The same with this one. So essentially they sign in once and they have access to these different applications. And at the front end here, the user can authenticate with any of the methods supported. Like, as I mentioned earlier, Kerberos, user ID and password, certificate logins, OAuth, etc. So a user, say, who has Kerberos, logs into Verify Access, and now they have access to not only this application that initially just took in Kerberos, but these applications as well. So we effectively augmented these applications to not only support their native UID and password, but Kerberos as well. Now you can also federate through SAML and OpenID Connect. So users can effectively authenticate through any of these methods and go outbound to the different SaaS services available like Office 365 or Salesforce. It makes it easy for the admin as well in managing accounts. Okay, so before we go to the technical demonstration, I just wanted to give a bit of a background on our company for this demonstration. So we have our fictitious company, Gaolu Industries, which initially didn't have an access management system. So with this, they had several pain points, including employees having multiple accounts and passwords to remember for the multiple applications. And they have critical applications that would be requiring higher level of trust from the employees using them. Okay, so let me show first the homegrown applications that they have. Uh, Let me just share my screen here. Okay, so here, these are some of the examples of the homegrown applications Gaulu Industries have. They have a deal registration page, which is an app to register deals and promos. And they have customer search, which lists down all of the customers of Gaulu Industries. So here you can see the deal registration page requires you to type in your credentials. So it's protected by basic UID and password only. It's not under HTTPS. It's only under HTTP, so it's essentially not secure. Let me try logging in here. So here I'm logged in as myself, so I can do the deal registration from this page. Another application that they have is their customer search application. So it's a web application, and as you can see, it doesn't require any credentials to access. It's a web application, but is not under HTTPS, same as the deal registration app. So basically, it's unsecure. So imagine having an unsecure but confidential information such as this, the customer information of Gaulu Industries, and having contractors within their organization who can possibly view this confidential information as well. Now, due to these pain points, Gaulu Industries deployed Verify Access in their environment. And with this deployment, they have authentication and access control augmentation for their homegrown application, which we will see in a while. Okay. Okay, so here's an overview of our demo environment. So in this demo, you'll be introduced to an end user who uh, uh, who will be using a Verify Access to sign in and access several applications and do multi-factor authentication. In this demonstration, our resources would include the custom applications, the two I showed earlier, IBM Verify Governance, and a transaction app. So let's head on over to our first prerequisite setup. So IBM Security Verify Access utilizes mobile devices for some of its features, such as the mobile multi-factor authentication. So in this section, we'll be showing how easy it is to register your device to Verify Access utilizing the IBM Verify mobile app. IBM Verify mobile app is available in Apple App Store and Google Play Store. So it's a very accessible authenticator application.
Thank you, Derek. Give me 1 second. I'll just be sharing my screen here for our first demonstration. Okay, so our first task is pretty straightforward. So in our fictitious company, we have our new employee with username John, and John is about to connect his mobile device with his Gaulu account. So right now, what you see on your screen now here is the portal, login portal of Gaulu Industry. So let's go ahead and log in John's account. So John's account. Oh, sorry about that. Wrong password. Okay, now we click on this side are profile management tasks here. So we go to device management and add a device and just basically go next as I know the screen instruction. Next, connect your account. And as you can see here, I am presented with a QR code, which I can share. I can scan with my mobile device. And let me go ahead and share my mobile device screen. All right, so on my mobile device screen, I am running a Verify mobile application, and I'll just go click on connect an account, scan that QR code, sorry, give me 1 second, just having some difficulties here. I think I lost my connection, a little bit of technical difficulties, but I should be back and running in a few seconds here. Just resetting my connection. I'm gonna try that again. Okay, here we go. Scan QR code, and there we go. I'm now connected to my Galdo account. I am even have the option to use biometrics, which let's go ahead and do that. And there you go, as easy as that. Done. Thank you.
Thank you, John. So let's head on over to our first scenario, single sign-on. So here we have our user logging in once into the application Launchpad. And from there, he can then access the different applications available to him as Verify Access asserts his identity to those applications.
Thank you, Derek. Okay, now for our first scenario, earlier, Derek showed the pain points of Gallo Industries. Currently, they have their homegrown applications, which are deal registration and search. Both are running in HTTP only, and search application does not have any authentication at all. Now let's compare that behavior when it's behind web seal. By the way, just wanted to uh, let you know that as you notice, we are running on HTTPS here, but there's like this kind of like a warning here, and that's because we're running our Galdo Industries on a lab environment, and we have a test certificate for this demo for testing. So yeah, let's go ahead and log in again to John's account. There we go. And let's now show how the customer search application looks like behind Verify Access. So first, we need to enter our credentials before we can even access this dashboard. And as you can see, we are able to access a search application, and it's now running on HTTPS. Let's go ahead and look at deal registration. Click that. And as you can see, I'm logged into Galdo's deal registration application. Here's my username, John. And we were not prompted by the form-based user authentication, as Derek showed earlier, because behind the scenes, Verify Access did a single sign-on for us. Derek?
Okay, so as you can see in the demonstration, the previously unprotected web applications of Gaolu Industries are now protected by Verify Access. And with just one login, you can access the different applications available. So let's head on over to our second scenario. Now, there are circumstances that you want an additional layer of protection for some of the very important applications that you have. So that can be applied through multi-factor authentication. In this scenario, the user will be required to authenticate before he can access and use certain applications. This ensures a layer of protection, especially for those critical applications.
Thank you, Derek. Now we're going to show how Verify Access is able to protect an application with, well, we call it a sensitive application, which requires 2FA for added security. So in this particular example, an identity management solution is protected behind Verify Access. Also, aside from 2FA, Verify Access is doing SSO behind the scene. So again, let's go ahead and log into our user's account. And let's go ahead and click on our identity governance application here. As you can see, we are being prompted for two-factor authentication. Let me go ahead and just refresh this one. And there we go. We have a pending request to verify that it's really me that's logging in. Let's go ahead and click that. I'll click on approve, provide my fingerprint for biometrics, and there we go. Request is verified. Behind the scene, we are logging on Verify Access did a single sign-on and log into this identity governance solution.
Okay. With multi-factor authentication, an additional layer of protection can be applied to certain applications, ensuring that the users are who they say they are. Okay, so we can further secure tasks and actions through context-based access management. So in this example, even though our user is able to access the application, of course, they will be logging into Verify Access. So Verify Access would assert the identity to the resource so they can access the application. But he will be required to further authenticate before he can successfully do any tasks or actions within that resource. So in this use case, that resource would be a certain monetary transaction. So we configure the system such that when you transact, say $1,000 or less, you will not be required to authenticate and the transaction will proceed. But when you transact more than $1,000, you will be prompted to authenticate for the transaction to proceed.
Thanks, Derek. Now we're going to show how Verify Access extract the context of a payment transaction and decide if two-factor authentication is needed based on the amount of transaction. So let's go ahead and log in with our test user here. And let's go ahead and let's go to our demo application. So the policy here is $1,000 before requiring a 2FA. So now let's try 800. And the expectation is the transaction would go ahead and be successful without being prompted for 2FA. And there you go. Our transaction is successful for $800. Let's try again for 1,500. And there you go. We are being prompted by 2FA. And if, let me show my mobile screen here, we have a pending request, which needs my approval and my fingerprint before the 1,500 transaction can be completed successfully. And as you can see, now that I've given my approval, transaction was completed successfully for that amount. Derek?
So as you can see here, the context of the request was included in the processing of the request. So if the request fulfills a certain condition, it may or may not allow you to proceed. This is perfect in certain activities done in your environment. For example, if there's some critical activities that you need to do, so limiting access or what users can do, depending on the context, that can be applied through contextual access control. Okay, so let's build up from that. So aside from the transaction value, the context of the location, we can will be including that in this scenario. So with context-based access management, as I mentioned, aside from certain the transaction value, we can implement other security policies that depend on other attributes. So in this example, we will include the location of the requester. So um, if a user who is located outside a certain location, say outside the country headquarters, authentication would be required, and the user can only transact a lesser amount than usual. So in this scenario, transactions are allowed if it's under 500 and would require multi-factor authentication. But if it's more than that amount, it will not proceed.
Thanks, Derek. Yeah, so for this scenario, let's see what happens when transaction takes place outside the country. So maybe our new employee here, John, is on deployment but needs to do transaction. So, by the way, before I go forward, I just wanted to show you that we are running on a different VM now, and this was previously set up so that it simulates that it's running from outside the country. Okay, so let's go ahead and log in, and let's go to the same mobile transaction demo application. Okay, and the amount here, the maximum amount that can be transferred is $500, and anything below that is allowed, but 2FA is needed. So let's go ahead and transfer $300. Post transaction, and there we go. We are being prompted for 2FA. Let me just trying to share my screen here. Okay, there we go. Let's do a quick refresh. Okay, pending request. Let's go ahead and approve that. Fingerprint, and there we go. Transaction completed successfully. So now let's try transacting, let's say $600, which is over $500 limit. And as you can see, based on the rules, we are not allowed to transact more than 500 at all if we're outside the country. And there you go.
Okay, so this two scenarios show how the technology understands the context of the request, basically checking who is trying to access the resource, how it is being requested, and even where the request is originating. Okay, so here in our last scenario, through verify access, we can utilize more secure and convenient ways of for authentication. So which provides us with the passwordless access to resources by just filling a form, and even without typing in any passwords, you can access applications available to you.
Thanks, Derek. Let me just go ahead and share my screen here. Okay, for this demonstration, so many organizations are looking into passwordless login. Perhaps this is to mitigate the fact that many user uses the same username and password across multiple sites, or even some uses the same credential for both work and personal use. So Verify Access supports this feature, passwordless authentication. So I'm sharing here on my screen now, basically the login screen. It's just asking for username. When we click on login, we are being prompted for 2FA. I'm sharing my, oh, there we go. Sharing my mobile screen now. And let's just go ahead and approve that so we can go access the dashboard. So this is passwordless authentication. There.
Okay, so thank you, John. This last scenario shows how you can provide a secure yet extremely convenient way of accessing several applications. Just type in your username and click a button on your phone and you are in. And with that, we have reached the end of our demonstration. But before we go to our Q&A portion, just a reminder, if you are thinking of setting up an access management solution in your environment, but you are not sure where or how to start, we are here to help. We are offering AM Quick Start for new clients, which allows you to utilize an access management solution in your environment at no cost. It is more than just a free trial. As on top of IBM Security Verify trial, you will receive professional services for us to set up and configure the technology to allow standard features like single sign-on and multi-factor authentication that we showed earlier. Uh, but um, but for example, if you have already an ISAM implemented, you might also be entitled to an upgrade to hybrid, which includes identity governance. So if you have any questions regarding that, regarding our AM Quick Start service for new clients, or if you have, as I mentioned, ISAM already implemented, if you want to check out these offers, do visit us. Visit our website. The URL is shown in the screen, or email us at info@imteam.com for more information. And now let's proceed to our Q&A portion. I can see a few questions raised. Okay, let's have this one first. If we have, say, partners and contractors from another organization, can we also give access to them? John?
Yeah, sure. Let me take that one. Thanks, Derek. Absolutely. Yes, contractors or partner, we can give access. We They can authenticate with their organization access management, and then federate uh, to your organization using standards like SAML and OpenID Connect. Um, and to add to that, it can also be, the other way around. Your organization can authenticate your employee and federate to third parties, to your partners, let's say access management solution, or even to cloud-based service providers like Salesforce or Office 365.
Okay, thank you, John. Let's see here. Here's another question. I noticed that the applications you showed are web applications. Can verify access protect desktop applications as well?
Well, that depends. So verify access, what we showed protects web traffic. That means HTTP, HTTPS. So now if the desktop application calls a web service, a web API, then that can be protected behind verify access. But if the feature of the desktop application is just, let's say, a simple read and write to a local database, then that's out of scope for verify access.
Okay, clear. Thank you, John. Okay, let's just wait for. Okay, here's a question. How can we implement 2FA for users without mobile device? So I guess that's newer mobile devices. Okay.
Yeah, that's a good question. For our demo, we just showed two-factor authentication using, as you mentioned, newer or models of mobile device. But yes, verify access have other authentication mechanism, um, and which can be used without a mobile device. For instance, it can be customized to integrate with the third-party token provider like RSA or Entrust, or perhaps an email-based one-time password can be used as well. And also for older mobile device, we can use SMS one-time password as well.
Okay, thank you, John. Okay, so I don't see any other questions here. So I guess with that, we will be ending our webinar here. Thank you everyone for joining our Context is King, the IBM Security Verify Access webinar. Yeah, so if you have any questions or you want more information, you can contact us through info@imteam.com or visit our website. And with that, I hope everyone have a good day today, and please stay safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.